Welcome, 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 everybody. We're here to catch up with some regulars, meet some new people. We're going to do some Reiki today. We're going to do some tarot today. We're just going to have some fun. Of course, we're going to do some chit-chat, catch up with each other. We're just building community here on this channel. I'm all about building community. I love it when I have people that come in and that pray for each other when we need prayers and that are just generally kind to each other and helpful. So that's what we're doing here today. Right now I'm just clearing tarot cards so that we will be ready to rock and roll whenever I'm ready to get started with the tarot. After I finish clearing tarot cards, then we will do 5 minutes of Reiki. After that, we will do our best manifestation advice for the next 24 hours. After that, we will do some readings for people in the room and some chit-chat, and we'll just have some fun along the way. Right? Why not have some fun along the way? Now, when you guys book me for a private reading, we're not doing a whole lot of chit-chatting and chewing up your time with silliness, but we can do that here. This is kind of my place to unwind and show you guys what I'm capable of all at the same time. I like to have fun here. This isn't serious. I'm not on the clock. Nobody's paying by the minute. I get to have a little fun too. Cheryl Ford, hello, hello, welcome. How are you today, my friend? Let's see what our last 4 cards are here. Clover, ooh, that's good luck. For a friend making a decision about family or home. That's interesting because we just had that Pisces deep dive that came out that they're making a big decision about home or family. I am fantastic, my friend. Glad to hear that you're good. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm doing readings and Reiki sessions, teaching classes. My YouTube's going viral. My client base is expanding. My life is good, 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 and getting better all the time. Thank you very much for asking. I did my first free manifestation class on Saturday night. I hadn't realized that I had scheduled it for a holiday weekend until it was way too late to do anything about it. So I just had one person show up, but still it was good. And it was fun. It was cool. It was way cool because the one person that I showed up is my best friend from when I was in the Air Force. I've known her since 1991. And we're like cookie cutters of each other. We don't really look that much alike, but we always had the same thing. Like when I first met her, we both had the same sheets on our bed. We had the exact same hairbrushes, right down to the same colors, same toothbrushes. Our CD collections were like 75% overlap of each other's CD collections, because back then the thing was CDs. And we're still like that every time we get together nowadays. We've got new things that we've bought, even though she lives in Texas and I live, of course, in Colorado. And we still match each other. And we just always have things to talk about. So it was nice that she happened to be the one person that came into the class. I was like, aw. Because we hadn't caught up for a while. We're those kind of friends. We can go like months and months and not talk. And then out of the blue, one of us will call the other. And then it'll be just like we've been talking every day. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with Reiki. We'll do that for 5 minutes. I am going to set the intentions on the Reiki for whatever's for your highest and best good, and that is going to apply not only to you, Miss Cheryl, but also anybody else in the room, including myself, and anybody who comes across this video later. If you have something more specific you would like to use the Reiki for instead of just whatever's for your highest and best good, feel free to go ahead and adjust that intention for yourself. If you let me know in the chat what you're adjusting it to, I always find that fascinating, and it's kind of fun to sort of keep track of. But if it's too personal, there's no obligation to do that. Anyway, let's jump into some Reiki. We're going to do this for 5 minutes. We're starting at 11:48. That means we'll be finishing up at 53 after the hour. Three more minutes on the Reiki. I'm being told for somebody who watches this video, whether you're here now or whether you watch it later, there's somebody out here who is running a temperature that's higher than normal, and it's going to be important for you to take care of that and pay attention to it. Spirit's literally showing me somebody dumping a bag of ice cubes into a bathtub, which when I was little, my mom used to put us in ice baths if we had really high fevers. So I'm not sure if this is literally somebody who's going to be stumbling across this video or who is watching it now, or if it's somebody that is in your life, like a little one, a little grandkid or niece or nephew or your own kid. But there's somebody out here who, if there's somebody around you or if you're running a fever, take it seriously and be proactive about it. Two more minutes on the Reiki. All right, let's wrap up the Reiki. Okay, next we're going to move into best manifestation advice for everybody here now or who stumbles across the video later. So be thinking about what would you like to manifest. I think we're going to use this deck for that. This is the Dream Raven Tarot, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe Raven's Dream Tarot. Something like that. All right, let's see here. Best manifestation advice over the next 24 hours for me and my people. For me and my peeps. Oops, I keep forgetting that camera got moved. Okay, so Seven of Wands in reverse, followed by the Page of Swords, followed by the Sun in reverse. Well, this is nice. The Sun in reverse talks about good times that we share with other people. We get to do what we want to without anybody breathing down our neck, setting deadlines, telling us how to do stuff. Okay, so that's a nice place to end with our manifestation here. The Seven of Wands really talks about this idea of letting down some kind of boundary or some kind of guard. Okay, so I think this light is too white. Might be too yellow, but it's better. Anyway, so letting down some kind of boundary or some kind of guard. So making ourselves, like if we've been kind of having boundaries up, I'm not talking to this one or whatever, I don't do things with that one. This is kind of talking about letting those boundaries down a little bit. We don't have to let them all the way down, but we can let them down a little bit. And the Page of Swords talks about communicating, maybe even inviting them to do something together with us that we feel that we know we would enjoy doing, and we hope that they would enjoy doing along with us so that we can generate some good times together, so we have some good memories and a chance to bond with this person that we may have had some boundaries up from. Now, obviously, if you have boundaries up for somebody that's, psycho killer type person, that's definitely not somebody you're going to bring the boundaries down around. So, of course, use good common sense. But maybe somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, this is a good time to reach out to them and actually do something fun. Kind of like how my class went on Saturday. Somebody I hadn't talked to in forever. And she came to the class and we had a great time. So, put the invitation out there. And then enjoy. Divyansha. Hello. Glad you're here. You are accurate. That's cool. Meditation is always helpful for anybody, I think. Felisa, hello. Rhoda, hello. Glad to see you all in the room today. So Divyansha, do you have a question for me today, or do you want a message from Spirit? Everybody else, if you have a question, put the question in. If you want a message from Spirit, let me know that too. Happy Memorial Day. That's it, right? Happy Memorial Day. Excuse me. Cheryl wants on the list for a message. Boopity doo 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 doo. Have we asked that question for you recently, Divyansha? It seems like maybe we have. So if we have, I want to ask a different question. If we have not, I'm happy to ask it. But it seems like we have. I could be wrong. I have been before. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. You're trying to think of your question. While you're trying to think of your question, I'm going to say, guys, I think that we are very lucky to be here for Memorial Day, and I'm glad that we are in this country where people have actually sacrificed something for us to have the freedoms and the liberties that we do have. I think this year we're taking those a lot less for granted than we have before, those of us who have been paying attention to what's going on in DC and everywhere else, at least. I think it's also important, though, when we have Memorial Day to remember what we like to say in the military: all gave some gave all. But even with those all that gave some, their families gave too. Their families sacrificed too for military members to be away. And if they had a military member that gave all, that family, they really lost a lot there. So it's important to remember to appreciate the families of those people as well. Hello there, Eagle. All right, so let's see. Where am I? Teresa was trying to think of her question. Eagle, hello. Let's see. Message from Spirit for Rhoda. Okay, Rhoda. I know you'll come back and you'll listen if you don't hear it right away. Let's see. Then career growth in upcoming months. Okay, we'll check for. Do you want 6 months or a year, Divyansha? Okay, you're doing a PhD. Okay, we're putting down here question for her. Okay, Melissa. You are on the list, my friend. Are we talking about a lease for a business space or for a residential space, Teresa? Well, they want notice way ahead of time, don't they? They're going to come in and start doing work on while you're still there? Jeez. Residential. Okay. Teresa. Renew. Residential. Lease. Ability. Spell it right. All right. I think we've got everybody on the list right now, so let's start rocking and rolling. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should keep me busy for a little bit. Everybody, do not forget, share this video out to others who might also like a reading. I think I want to use this other deck. And also, don't forget to put a thumbs up on this as well. Of course, the more you comment, the happier. That makes the YouTube AI machine to put me out there in front of others. So all of your support in getting me out there in front of others is very helpful. I am trying to do a subscriber push. My last channel got channel banned at like 7.8K or something like that. And so starting over from scratch, I'm very impatient to get back at least to that number. So all the help you give is very much appreciated. Okay, so let's see. Divyansha's question. She wants to know about career growth. You never told me if you went 6 months or a year. Let's go for 6 months then. Show me Divyansha's career growth in the next 6 months, please. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. That's very kind. And thank you to all my Memorial Day people who not only were in service, but also families of people in service, either past or present. Divyansha, career growth, 6 months. Jen, did I ever tell you the story of my mom? Whenever Desert Storm and all that stuff got kicked up and I was in tech school? Just thinking about families and how they sacrifice too. Oh, I'll have to tell you that story. Let me get through with this reading for Divyansha first. It's kind of funny in retrospect, although at the time it was not funny. Let's see here. Here's what I'm going to say first of all, Divyansha, because we have that side of every single one of these cards. This tells me that you have a lot of energy already invested into your career growth. And if you're going for a PhD, that would be logical that would be true. But it's also showing up in the cards that a lot of the stuff that is coming up is already kind of a foregone conclusion because of the energy that you've already put in. First of all, we have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles talks about being very careful to make sure that you're laying a really solid foundation for that career. Okay, so if you're going for a PhD, I would say that's a pretty solid foundation. With this Page of Pentacles coming up in reverse, this tells me that this is part of your motivation for setting the foundation, is the idea that you never want to have to worry about money, and you're hoping that by setting the solid foundation you keep yourself from any situation like that. So that's really your motivation. And you may have had people that you've seen in your life that did have to worry on a regular basis about money, and that may have just kind of added extra impetus to that motivation. We do have the Hermit card showing up in reverse, which basically, I don't know if this means that you've taken some kind of internship or that you're already using your skills in some other way out in the world, but this says that you've already gotten enough information that you are using some of your skills out in the world one way or the other, whether it's an internship or something else. And this is still kind of a work in progress because it's in reverse, so I think you may still be adding to those skills out in the real world even as you're studying. Okay? Gotcha. There's something here about like an apprenticeship or an internship, or even you're doing something already, whether it's an official job. Okay? Now, the Queen of Cups here tells me that you've done this basically because this is what brings you satisfaction and motivation. You already know that this is what's going to bring you satisfaction and motivation, and that's been a part of the motivation of this. So not only this idea of I never want to have to worry about money, but also this idea of I'll feel really good about myself and what I'm actually doing and how I can support and help others. Right? Now, here we have, look at that. That's our Temperance card. But it's the back of our Temperance card, or I should say it's that side of our Temperance card, which basically says your goal is to keep everything balanced. You want to be able to make a decent amount of money so you never have to worry about money, but you also want to do something that makes you feel satisfied and fulfilled. And so I don't know that this tells me what's going on the next 6 months as much as this tells me you're doing things in a very solid way. And it looks to me like you're doing everything along the right tracks. Not amazing, I'm just a good listener. But here's what I will say, if you think I'm amazing in a little 5-card reading, you definitely need to get a live reading with me. And bring all your questions. Not repeats, but all the others. Balancing is always the trick, isn't it? Or at least I think. My life has been constantly a balancing struggle, but then I also have my first house, and then my son is exactly opposite my first house. So I'm always trying to find balance between what I'm doing for myself and what I'm doing for others. It's a never-ending conquest. I'm like the man in the moon. I'll never have that tree chopped down. Yeah, it looks like you're already on your trajectory. Just the way all of those that cards came up because for me, that cards say, because we're on the that cards, see, like here's a great example. Here's this side of a card. Here's that side of the card in a vice versa deck. So for me, if I'm seeing somebody's back on that side of the card, this means this is something that's actually happened in the past. So in your case, since we were looking at the next 6 months, this is telling me that everything that you've done in the past is actually what's creating the next 6 months. Like you've already planted the seeds to have those things coming up. Okay. But you were still working on things. You were still getting those seeds in the ground. I mean, if you're working on a PhD now, then you were working on a degree before that. This is not a new thing. Right? It's been a work in progress. That's the way all of our lives are, whether we're doing school or doing something else. It's always a work in progress. When I first started, all I did was energy readings. When I first started, I didn't use tarot cards. And actually, first, I only did medium readings where I talked to spirits that crossed over. Then I started doing energy readings if people needed information. Then I started using the tarot cards when I started reading for more people so my energy would stay. Then I learned Reiki, so now I do Reiki for people. Then I started clearing houses because people needed to have bad spirits out of their houses. And now I'm on to teaching because I've gathered enough information to be able to teach. So we're always, and who knows what comes next, but we're always growing, we're always expanding. Whether we're going to school or whether we're doing something else, that never stops. But what are we expanding? We're expanding whatever we're putting our energy and effort into. Froggy! So glad to see you in the room, honey bunny. Do you have a question for me today, or do you want a message from Spirit? So here's the story. It's an appropriate story for Memorial Day because earlier I was talking about not only do the service members make sacrifices for the country to be a country of liberty, but so do the family members. So I was in tech school back in the 90s, like 91, 92. Desert storm broke out while I was in tech school. And so while I was in tech school, I wasn't going to get transferred to the front lines anywhere. First of all, I was in the Air Force. So like technicians, which I was training to be an air traffic control radar technician. So I was going to fix the equipment the controllers used to look at to bring the planes in. But in the Air Force, the people who do stuff like that really are not on the front lines unless they happen to be attached to an airport that comes under fire or something like that. But the pilots, who are the officers, they're the ones who are actually doing the fighting, and they're doing the fighting in the planes. So I was not stressing that I was going to see any kind of immediate action. I had been trained how to shoot a gun if needed, but I was not stressing out. Everybody is trained that. So I had to finish tech school before I would be worth anything to anybody out there in the world. And so Desert Storm breaks out, and people from the Air Force are getting deployed. There was a lot of air in that battle. And my mom calls me up, and this is back before anybody had cell phones or even car phones. And so mom calls me up, and so somebody came and told me that I had a phone call from my mom. I was in my dorm, walked down to the day room where the phone's on the wall, and everybody's kind of hanging out there. There's like at least 6 other chicks hanging out there. And so I take the call from my mom, and my mom is totally flipped out. She is absolutely convinced I'm going to be sent to the front lines. And when I tell her that, Mom, I'm still in training, and there is no way they're going to send me, I'm totally useless. And Mom says, well, that's exactly why they would send you, because you are not completely trained. They don't have all that much money in you yet. They're just going to hand you a gun and say, go for it. And if you get killed, it won't be that big of a deal to them. She had herself completely convinced that I was going to be sacrificed on the front lines as just a body, which is not even how we fight in this country. But whenever I talk about that, the families also sacrifice. That's part of it. The families also sacrifice as well. All right, so Cheryl, you're up next. What is the new Brian like? Oh, is this the new guy that started coming around after I told you somebody was going to be coming around flirting and you were going to have to make a decision? Is this that person that you didn't know who I was talking about then? Cheryl, you're up next. Let's get some cards down for you. Cheryl, this is going to be your message from Spirit. Everybody else be on the lookout for a piggyback message. What do we have? Cheryl Ford. Oh, wow. Well, your love life is popping now, isn't it? Look at you. The floodgates have opened. Okay, so Miss Cheryl. 10 of Pentacles coming up in reverse. This talks about the idea that you want to up-level your sense of security or stability in the world, especially when it comes to your shared sense of stability and security. So stability and security for your family or for your tribe, for people who are important to you and yourself. Oh, wow. Cool, Froggy. 10 of Wands. Look at that. You've actually got 2 10s. You've got that side of the 10 of Wands in reverse. This talks about that you're wanting to up-level the stability and security because in the past you let go of some kind of responsibilities. So maybe you walked away from a job, or I don't know, maybe you quit doing volunteer work and it made you feel stable just to have that place to go to and those people to hang out with. But there's some kind of responsibilities that you put down in the past, which is influencing why you want to up-level your sense of stability and security now. Now, let's look at best advice or heads up. We're starting off with a 3 of Pentacles, this side of a 3 of Pentacles in reverse. We have that side of an 8 of Wands in reverse, and we have this side of, this is the Death card, I think. Yes, look at that. That's that side of the Death card. So I think this is a great way to do the Death card, though, that side of it, because the Death and Rebirth. This is basically the rebirth side. So anyway, what do we have here? All right. Well, that's funny. Because 3 of Pentacles in reverse basically says, like, you're not really finding any gigs. If you're trying to find new responsibilities to do, you're not finding any kind of new responsibilities. And this is not like, I say gigs because the 3 of Pentacles is not like a job thing. 3 of Pentacles is collaborating with somebody, but it's, for maybe a one-off here or there, not for anything big time. So we've got a 3 of Pentacles in reverse. You're not finding anybody that wants to collaborate with you on helping you up-level your security. So if you're just looking for like a gig, like, oh, maybe I want to clean a house one day a week or something like that. Or, I don't know, maybe I want to start doing readings, whatever it is, or you're getting gigs. This is not a full-time employer. This is just here and there work, basically. And then you've got the 8 of Wands coming up in reverse. Well, there's not a lot of communication going on. So I'm not sure here. I'm kind of getting a whole big story off of this one card. I think you may have kind of put out the word, hey, I would like to do blah, blah, blah. Maybe you wanted to sell little knit dolls that you're making. I don't know. Crochet dolls. But you kind of put out the word, I think, for a while. But because there was no Nobody taking you up on the offer to collaborate in whatever way it is that you want to collaborate with this Eight of Wands in reverse. Now I think you're not saying that much because you didn't get that much feedback. Now I don't see you really putting it out there that much anymore. And instead, what I see you doing is going through a major transformation. You have been going through a major transformation when it comes to this idea of stability and security. And I really feel like with this card, I feel like you're realizing, you know what, for my stability and my security, I don't really want to rely on people who may or may not take me up on whatever this offer is for me to help them with some kind of responsibility. I want to do something that is more controlled by me. So this is not going from, oh, I just want to do gigs to now I just want to be employed because I can count on that. This is going from, I just want to do some things here and there to, you know what, I'm going to start my own thing. This area has not been responsive enough. I'm just going to start my own thing and take complete control of things. That's what I see here for you. That's your advice. That's your advice. And if you have not already tried to do the collaboration thing where you have people that get one-off little consulting or whatever this is, if that's true, then this would say do that before you start your own thing because you need to gather some information about how that could work. And once you've gathered that information, that's going to be beneficial to you as you start your own thing. Okay? With the rebirth side of that card. All right, I hope that makes sense for you, Miss Cheryl. I hope you're still in the room. Boopity-doo-doo, Rhoda. Message from Spirit for Ms. Rhoda. You're quite welcome. Did it make sense for you? Sometimes a psychic will get some stuff and they think this is totally ridiculous the whole time that it's coming out their mouth. That was one where I was kind of feeling that way. Gotcha. Okay. Ms. Rhoda. Now, Rhoda, I know, comes and goes because she just kind of checks in and says, I'm at work, but I want a message. So I know she'll scroll back and get her message if she's not here now. Let's see what we have for her. Everybody else be on the lookout for a piggyback message. You could get a piggyback on Rhoda's message. Just because it doesn't have your name attached to it doesn't mean it wouldn't benefit you as well. Boopity-doo-doo. Keep forgetting that the camera moved. That's why I keep adjusting the cards. Okay. Ms. Rhoda, what do we have here? This is not being on the same page with somebody that you consider a partner, whether that's a romantic partner, a strong friendship, a family relationship. If this is somebody not being on the same page, having a really hard time agreeing. And then we have the Hanged Man. This is you. This is bothering you that you guys are in this place. This is not like you're saying, bye-bye, get out. You're not giving them the boot or anything. It's bothering you that you can't agree with this person, so you're taking some time to try and look at it from their perspective and to try and see it from any other different perspectives that would help you to navigate this situation to get things back on track. Okay? Now, very mature way of handling things, actually. And by the way, just because we're older does not necessarily mean we behave in a mature way. Usually that means we've done a lot of self-work to get there. Now let's look at best advice or heads up around this situation. We've got a Four of Pentacles in reverse. This basically tells me you've put a lot of energy into this situation already. And so I think you can look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm doing the best that I can with this situation. And I have done the best that I can with this situation so far. Now, with this Page of Swords in reverse, this comes up that I think you're going to have to actually say something to this person about we have to be able to come to some kind of compromise here to have a fresh new start to move forward with, or something's got to give one way or the other. We've either got to compromise, or we've got to have, and if we compromise, we can have a fresh new start together. Or if we don't compromise, if neither one of us can compromise, then maybe it's time for us to go our separate ways. And so this is kind of a serious thing, I think. Of course, I have so much water in my chart. Relationships are super important to me. Emotions are super important to me. So you may not feel like this is as heavy as I feel like it is, but I feel like it's kind of a heavy thing to make that kind of decision around somebody that we consider a really good friend or a partner, whether it's a business partner, romantic partner, whatever. Even a really good friend, it would be hard to come to that point where you realize, look, we've either got to be able to figure something out where we can make this work, or we just have to go our separate ways. But that's where I see you right now. I see that you've done everything that you can so far with this relationship to try to make it work, but it takes two to tango, and it's going to take, I would almost say this is an ultimatum, but I associate ultimatums with things that we say that we don't really mean. It's almost like a bluff. To me, an ultimatum is almost like a bluff. But this is really, this is having that conversation of, this is where we are. We're going to have to find a way to compromise to make this work so we can have a fresh start together. Or if we can't compromise, maybe it's time for us to go our separate ways. It's time for that conversation, basically, is what this is saying, because you've done everything you can in the prep work before that. This is the next most logical step in the process. I hope that makes sense for you, Ms. Rhoda. Rhoda. And I hope somebody else got a piggyback off of that. I like messages to get double duty and triple duty. Okay, Melissa. You're up next, my friend. Message from Spirit for Melissa. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo, Melissa. Melissa. Okay. Well, I just shuffled the heck out of that deck, and then this deck told me it wants to talk to you, Melissa. So here we go. I hope you're still in the room. Melissa's message from Spirit. Everybody else be on the lookout for a piggyback message. I think I need to adjust my volume. It looks like I'm maxing out my speaker a lot. Let's try this. Let's see if that's a little better. Okay, can you guys still hear me okay, though? Melissa, here we go. Don't forget to share this video so that other people can get readings as well. So far, I bet you we can still get more people on the list before I'm done. Okay. All right, so Melissa, you're coming up with the 10 of Wands in reverse plus the 7 of Cups right side up. Oh, that's kind of funny. Melissa, this is saying that you're carrying a whole lot of responsibilities. In fact, you're carrying so many responsibilities that if you want to put responsibilities down, there's lots of options that would make you happy to put some of these responsibilities down. There are a lot of things that you would be happy to let go of as far as responsibilities right now. All right, so let's look next at your best advice or heads up. I want to take a peek really quick because... Is my chat still working? Looks like it is. I hope Melissa's still here. All right, Miss Jen, you are in. Glad you typed something because I was starting to wonder if my chat got locked up. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ba-bum, bum, bum. Now, best advice or heads up around this. We have a Knight of Cups in reverse, Six of Swords in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse. Ooh, 2 swords. King of Cups in reverse. I'm going to say you're getting burnt out. You've got a lot of responsibilities here. You would like to set down any number of them. With that King of Cups, I think you're just getting burnt out. Like you just don't even have the emotional wherewithal or bandwidth to deal with people anymore. I mean, this is when I've got my King of Cups in reverse, it's not long before you're just ready to just like shut off the cell phone, turn off the computer, and curl up under the covers for like 2 days or something. Come out only to eat and use the bathroom. Maybe. So this talks about the idea of all these burdens that you're carrying, all this load is putting you at a point where you're hitting burnout. And you need to be aware of that you have to do some self-care in there too. Six of Swords in reverse basically says it's time for you to make a lifestyle change. Like this is not even a joke. This is time for you to make a lifestyle change. It's time for you to let down some of these loads, some of this load that you've been carrying because it's not sustainable. So it's time for you to change your lifestyle. And with the Queen of Swords, this is really interesting because the Queen of Swords says, whatever it is that you decide to cut out, you must be one of those people that you could decide to cut it out and then you could be like, either feel bad for cutting it out or maybe you just have a hard time letting go of control of it. I don't know exactly. But this Queen of Swords says, once you cut something out of these responsibilities that you've been carrying, once you've figured out what you need to cut out and what you need to prioritize and keep, whatever it is you've cut out, don't pick that back up again. Don't even talk to anybody about that responsibility again. Whoever you delegate that responsibility to, it is theirs. Make sure that they know everything that they need to know so that you can walk away from that and know that I never have to talk about that again. Because my Queen of Swords talks about cutting off any kind of communication. When she's in reverse, she's using that sword. She's cutting off any kind of communication. We're done with this. Okay. Excuse me. Where's my mute? Sorry about that. I finally caught that mute button in time. Usually I don't. So anyway, yeah, it's time to let go of some of these burdens before you get to that burnout point where you just totally lose your stuff. Because if you don't go hide underneath the covers when you hit burnout, if you let yourself get to that burnout point and you just keep going, somebody is going to be the victim of you losing your stuff. All right? I can only say that because I've been there. Not the victim either. And then that Six of Swords, this is a lifestyle change. So this is something that, this is not talking about dropping responsibilities for a day or two. This is talking about take care of business. We're going to change the lifestyle. We're going to get rid of some of these responsibilities. Somebody else can handle those. Queen of Swords in reverse, don't pick those responsibilities back up again. Lifestyle change, not a temporary thing. Don't pick them up again. Okay? I know you're going to be tempted to. Don't do it, man. Just don't do it. You're quite welcome. All right. That was Melissa. Next up, we have Teresa. She wants to know if she's going to be able to renew her lease whenever it comes up in the fall. I think it was the fall. I think she said October or November. She has to give notice by September. I know that. Anyway, Spirit, you know what she's talking about. So, will Teresa be able to renew her lease this time coming up? Will she be able to renew that lease? Boopity doo doo, boopity doo doo, boopity doo 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 doo. Okay, we've got 5 cards here. Well, technically what we have is a tie here. But as I look at these cards, here's what I'm seeing, Miss Teresa. I think you're looking at the bright side of things. You're looking at some kind of silver lining, and I don't know why we're talking about a silver lining for this situation, but I'm guessing you do. With the Queen of Pentacles, the silver lining is that you can afford to if you want to. Queen of Wands talks about, this is my person who owns her own business. She's very independent, secure, self-sufficient, that type of person. So you would have the money to do this by yourself, to renew this lease by yourself if you want to. That's the silver lining. I'm not sure why that's the silver lining, but that is the silver lining here. Now, Two of Swords talks about that you're making a decision, and the Two of Pentacles talks about dropping something. So here's the thing. I think you would be able to. I don't see that as being a problem at all when I look at these cards. What I do think, though, is I think you're going to decide that you don't want to because there's going to be another place that you're more interested in and that you would rather be at. I think you're going to decide to move somewhere else rather than renew this lease. That's what I think. Thank you for telling me you're here. But would you be able to? Sure. Yes, I think you would. Easily. Easily. I keep hearing easily. Okay, Jen is up next. Guys, don't forget to share this video so other people can get readings as well. Jen, we're going back to Vice Versa Tarot for you. They are the ones who want to talk to you. And you guys, if you want to know more about me or if you want to sign up for my newsletter so you get my weekly prediction, you want to check out my website. I do all kinds of services, whether you want to take classes, whether you want private mentoring, whether you want readings, Reiki, mediumship, if you need me to cleanse your property, all that stuff. And I'm sure there's stuff I'm not even remembering, so check out my website. Okay, Jen. Message from Spirit for Jen. Let's see what we have. Ooh, payday. This guy looks so depressed on payday, doesn't he? This is like somebody who has payday and all their money is already spent. It's almost like he's crying. He's almost crying. You can't even see that card. Look at that. Let's get that fixed. Okay. I know, I hate moving too. I actually was thinking that as I was saying that. Like, oh, moving's a big job. All right, so getting back to this spread, everybody be on the lookout for a piggyback. This is for Jen. Also, share this video because I have only been here. Well, this probably will be my last reading. But still, share this video so people know where they can come to get a free little mini reading whenever they want to. Okay, now, boop-a-doo-doo. 7 of Pentacles. For me, this is my payday card. I do feel like when I look at this, like this guy almost looks like he's crying at payday. This basically says, yes, payday is coming in. Payday is here. But all that money is spoken for. That's what I'm going to say. All the money coming in is spoken for, at least for right now. We do have the 6 of Pentacles, which talks about a very specific type of payday. It talks about somebody paying you for whatever you're doing for them. It's an even energy exchange, which I'm going to say I'm glad to see since the last reading we did, where I think it came up that maybe you could even raise your rates for the services that you offer, because this talks about an even energy exchange, so it talks about fair pay for a fair service. All right. So payday's coming in. The payday has to do with the services that you offer and the money that comes to you for that. So even energy exchange, that's where that payday is coming from. It's from an even energy exchange. So I like what I'm seeing there. Best advice or heads up around this. Beep-a-dee-dee-dee. Is this side or that side? That's what I thought. So all of these are coming up as that side once we get down here. So I am really liking this actually, because this talks about heartache or loss, but it also talks about it being in the past because it's that side. If this was coming up in front of you in the future or in the present, it would be like that. It's not like that. We're seeing the back of this shield. So this is telling me that there's some kind of heartache that was in the past. Well, we already know our situation is all about the pentacles. This tells me that the heartache about wishing we had more pentacles is coming into the past. It's not so much the present thing anymore. It is moving to behind us, or we are moving away from it in time. We're moving forward. Well, why are we moving forward? Well, because there was this great idea. There was this great epiphany of an understanding. And look, this eagle is carrying the wreath. Eagles are very similar to hawks in that they bring us messages from the divine. At least in Native American tradition, they do. They have the big picture. They're up higher than anybody else. The wreath talks about winning. If you think about like the old Greek Olympics, the winner wore a laurel wreath that was placed on their head. So this is a great idea that has come to you from Spirit about how you can move away from this heartache that was caused by wishing you had more pentacles. Okay. And the Ace of Cups in that side of it says that you took this idea and you have manifested it. You have made it manifest. Now, maybe you haven't just yet, but maybe the fact that you will be is what's making this where you're moving away from the heartache. But this is the idea of, I'm taking this idea, and the Ace of Cups for me talks about the truth coming out about somebody or something. Okay? Ace of Cups, when she's right side up, that says, oh, I've got a new love. Okay? And so the card meanings will change over time. They breathe and they morph. So for me, the Ace of Cups reversed used to mean I'm seeing somebody's true colors, and I'm not so thrilled about them. But as time has gone by, this card is starting to mean more and more for me when it comes up in reverse. The truth is coming out about something. Or to take it a step further, which is how it's morphed even more, is something is coming into reality. Okay? And it's probably something that we love is coming into reality now. I don't even have a negative connotation with this anymore. The more it morphs, the more it becomes something that's positive. So this talks about that with this idea, you're taking this idea and you're making it a reality. And that's what's causing the old heartache around pentacles to be shifted into the past instead of being in the present, is because you're taking this idea and making it into a reality. That tells me that with this situation we're starting with here, where you have this payday that all the money's already accounted for, it's not like you get to have fun with it. It just is going to go pay the people you need to pay. But this payday is because of the services that you're offering. That tells me that this is just you catching up, but letting this go into the past, because this is becoming a reality. This is not always going to be a situation where when the pay comes in, it's already spoken for. That this is something that will steadily improve, because you have this idea that came from Spirit. Look, there's the wreath. You're the winner. You're the winner. And you're making this idea into reality, so that eventually when you get paid, that money won't all be spoken for. You'll have money that you can do what you want to do with as well. Hope that makes sense for you. You're quite welcome. Quite welcome. Did you notice too that I'm doing the advice that came up after we finished our official reading and we looked at best advice for both of us? Did you notice that I'm doing what came up? So me and Jen had a private reading, and afterwards we decided to look at what would most benefit. Did we ask about our abundance or how to grow our business? Something like that. Anyway, my answer came out that I need to start teaching people about abundance, which I hadn't been doing because I have a little imposter syndrome going on. So I started doing that. Saturday was the first class. Yep. All right, so I have been here for an hour. It is time for me to take off. Thank you guys very much. Oh, I didn't answer Froggy's question. How did I not get you on the list? Ah, okay. What is the new Brian like? Wait a second. Wait. His name is Brian? Are you serious? Oh, man. Okay. All right. Let's see. What does Kathy need to know about the new Brian? What is important for her to know about the new Brian? Is he out of town right now? Is he away from home right now? Because if he is, that can be this card. But if he's not, then this card's going to mean something else. Okay. All right. So then this tells me that he's already all up in his head looking at this situation between the two of you, whether it's a relationship or if it's not even that far yet. He's already all up in his head trying to be logically analyzing this thing. Okay. This Nine of Wands in reverse basically says that he's not prepared for something. Okay. And that might be part of why he's analyzing this on more of a mental level than anything else, because he's not prepared for something. Well, what's he not prepared for? He's not prepared for the Three of Pentacles. He's not prepared for a collaboration. And a collaboration for me, when we're talking about anything romantic, this would be like, friends with benefits or something that's really casual, maybe even more casual than that, maybe even just one night stand type of thing. He's not ready for something casual, no strings attached. And I think this is basically saying he's not ready for even this much. And I'll tell you why I'm taking it this direction here in a second. But I don't think he's ready for even this much of a relationship or situationship, much less anything bigger, anything more serious. Here's why. This is why. Because there's somebody that he fell for in the past, but this card is still showing up here. So he still has feelings for that person in the past. I think he's still trying to get over whatever happened in that relationship, because there was some kind of ending or some kind of rejection. Maybe he has feelings for somebody who's married and it just never got off the ground. It doesn't have to be that there was a big explosive thing, but he's still got feelings from somebody from his past, and he's still working to get over that heartache. And so at this point, he's really, whether he knows it or not, and sometimes people don't know it, he's really needing to do some more self work and some more healing before he can jump into anything. That doesn't mean that he knows he's not ready for anything yet, because look here, we still have at the front, he's thinking about this, he's analyzing this. He's taking the possibilities as if they are something that he can move forward with. So what happens when we have a situation like this where somebody really isn't healed enough to move forward yet, but they think they can? It doesn't end up working out very well for them or for the other person, because they are trying to move forward even though they're not ready. Maybe they think if they move forward, then that will help them move beyond this. But it ends up being just this massive implosion before it's all done. Basically, if I wanted to say it in a short way, if you think about, how people can have a relationship and then before they have their next really good relationship, they pretty much usually have a rebound first. And then after that, they start to really heal. It looks to me like he is ripe for the rebound. And then the rebound is going to fall apart because he's really not ready to sustain any kind of anything. So, I don't know. I would say appreciate this guy's attention because it's really nice and it's really flattering, but I wouldn't take him very seriously because he has some work to do before he can be serious. All right, so that's that. Now I think I've read for everybody in the room. Okay, guys, thank you very much for keeping me company here. Everyone, remember, have a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day, and I'll see you guys back on the next video. Peace out.